On the subject of what dreams may come, the fan fiction. So this was a Lyra fan fiction, and it was very interesting. Not very complex, but it was a fairly about an hour long. Um, Easy to describe. This is what happens. Her and Bon Bon are going to go do something in the they're going to go do some work to try to find about humans or whatever, and Lyra has a stroke, and she busts her head on the ground or something, and messes up her horn, and she wakes up as a human, and they're like, you've been in a coma basically for 2 years, and it goes back and forth between her being in the human world and being a human, and her being taken care of in the pony world and being a pony. And what ends up happening is she decides to go back to the pony world permanently, and it's supposed to be sad, but it's too vague to be sad, and this is why. I am not sure if we're supposed to be under the assumption that she really was a human and that she just created Ponyville in her mind or whatever, because I don't believe that to be true. Obviously, Lyra is a pony. That's canon. Lyra is a pony. So, I'm already of the assumption that, the human things were just hallucinations and she didn't really have a life there. And, that kind of makes it difficult because then it's not sad. Then it's just okay, well, at the end she went back to Ponyville and that's where she belongs. But, I don't know if the writer was trying to convey to me, no, she actually was a human and this was all fake. And if that's the case, then I just go, well, that doesn't even really make sense because Ponyville is too deep of a lore to be only in Lyra's mind. The Dragon Kingdom and stuff doesn't even Lyra hasn't even gone there. So how would that have been? You know what I mean? Then I logic it too much and it doesn't make sense. But as a standalone, I not as a standalone, but as a well, you're not really sure. It was good. I thought it was enjoyable. I'm glad that Lyra went back to Ponyville because, honestly, who's gonna be oh yeah, I'm back alive. This is great. I'd be yeah, right. Get me back to Ponyville. Are you crazy? That's essentially paradise. There's nothing ever that really bad happens. The worst thing that happens there, the worst thing that has happened there is that Lyra had a stroke. That's the by far the worst thing and that didn't even happen in the show. If it was the show and it was the worst thing that happened there, oh what, the Chrysalis and them, whatchamacallit it for a little while, that's fine. And then Twilight wrecked everyone and became princess, who cares? But yeah, I enjoyed this story. I think there was one F-bomb for some reason, randomly, out of nowhere, and it was that's kind of stupid, but the storyline was decently interesting. The performance by Scribbler and her people was amazing, like always. And yeah, I was interested the entire time. So I'd say about a 4 out of 5. It could have been better, maybe, if it was more concise on what actually was real and was not. Because the way it is, it's just me assuming. But I guess that's probably the intention of the author, to be less concise and less specific so that you could make your own ending or make your own assumption as to what happened. But yeah, 4 out of 5, pretty interesting story, and I liked it.